when we were in the email, you said one of the things you could talk about is what to watch out for when starting kratom. Um, is this discussion around like the adverse effects, like nausea, so on and so forth, start low, go slow kind of thing, and then don't exceed sort of the recommended dose, don't exceed your own dose. Are these the types of things that you watch out for, or is there something else specifically that you wanted to make sure people heard?
So I think what's important is really, for one, is to try to find a product that is well labeled. So really, all of the ingredients are listed. That it is, if possible, really just the ground up powder of the leaves of Mitragyna, that speciosa, that it is, if possible, even containing the percentage of mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine that is present in it. We call that a standardized extract. And if you can purchase it from the same manufacturer or supplier, uh, always, and that guarantees you that the product has consistent content from batch to batch. I think that's important, because if you use the same dose, you know how much you're getting, um, from every spoon, or from every dose that you're taking. Um, there should be a statement that it should only be available to people who are 18 years or older. Um, I think that's kind of a reasonable statement to make. Um, I realize that some people might disagree with the age restrictions, but I think it's a reasonable statement to make.
I agree.
Um, and when it comes to pregnant women, that we don't have sufficient data to support the use during pregnancy and lactation, and therefore they should not be taking it at this point. I think that's also a reasonable cautionary statement to include. There should be a dose recommendation on it. That shows that the manufacturer is responsible and that they care about their consumers, and also potentially a statement about that it might impair driving, so that people should be careful, and that it might cause drug interactions. So that are kind of statements where I would say this is a responsible manufacturer, that is somebody who cares about their customers, it is somebody who actually really wants to provide a good product to consumers. And then when it comes to actually starting kratom, I would go really low and slow. So if you don't start off with like 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon is probably the best, 1 tablespoon, if it's in powder form. Dissolve it in either water, hot water or cold water. Hot water is probably better, and then add some honey or something like that if you don't like the taste, or an orange juice. Some people put it in orange juice. I question how much better the absorption is with orange juice, though. To be honest, I don't think that you get more absorption from it, but I might be wrong.
Well, Swim uses orange juice because it's the best way to suppress the taste. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's the best way to suppress the taste, but I, from a chemistry point of view, I don't think that you get a lot into the system, so you don't get a lot absorbed.
So,
So,
so is it better to
uh,
do it with hot water, like because you're actively starting to extract That was another question that I didn't ask, but I wanted to. Now we're slightly off topic of what we're talking about, but it does it say I'm thinking economically about my kratom? Yeah, I want to take a certain amount. I want, like, financially, I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to take more than is needed to get the effect that I want. Do I want to extract it to some degree in hot water, or does it matter at all?
hot water is the way to go. Hot water is definitely a better extraction method. You can let it cool afterwards, because once it is extracted, it will stay extracted, the mitragynine. If we talk specifically mitragynine now, and 7-hydroxymitragynine, I cannot speak to other potential active components. So um, uh, I cannot tell about other stuff. But for those two, I would say that hot water currently is the best method. And the more acidic the solution is, I would think the worse the extraction is going to be of mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine, because the chemistry tells us that it's not going to be going into solution.
Okay, that's I'm putting that away for a rainy day. So what yeah, what was your final things there around watching out when you're starting? I mean, I think it's great on a safety level to be interacting with companies that clearly have integrity around their product, and then also on a market from a market perspective to be voting with your dollar, as they say, and encouraging those types of practices and rewarding financially the companies that are providing this quality of product and this type of integrity in their business practices. That's difficult here in Canada because kratom is only sold as incense here in Canada, as far as I know. It's not allowed for human consumption. So if you make any suggestions at all that there's any type of consumption going on, then you're now selling an unregistered something for now you're breaking the law. Unlike in the US, you could just be like, these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, and then get away with selling pretty much anything that isn't scheduled. So that's a limitation here in Canada. Like any kratom that I've interacted with has just come in a bag that is said like, this is kratom, and it says this is a particular kind of kratom. So I want to ask you about that. But is there anything else about watching, like what to watch out for that from starting, that you want to say before we move on to this basically last question I have?
No, that's pretty much it. So start slow and wait for the effects to kick in. So you might have to wait a little bit longer since everything is taken orally. It might take an hour or two for the effects to kick in. So if after 20 minutes you don't see an effect, wait. Don't take another dose right away. Wait, it just takes longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I'm thinking about obviously not kratom at all, but that's sort of like that sort of age old case report of someone being like, I took one and it didn't work, and then I took the second one and then they both hit at the same time. Like, now I'm in trouble, or now I'm at a great place, depending on how you look at it. So